There, freedom was sole rule and highest law. Yeah. There are no obligations on this freedom there. Freedom understands its own responsibility. In our world, freedom does not understand responsibility. And therefore, we have to put also sub-clauses, free speech, but it has to be also a responsible speech in a certain context. Free speech is not free like that everywhere. If you are living in a world, then the laws of the world have to be also respected, and your free speech should respect them, you see. You can't free yourself from those laws of the world, you see. Freedom. So I have been always saying that in American people, they always speak of freedom, free speech. Yes, free speech is wonderful, but then you should also have responsibility. Social responsibility is also there. So if I got a Statue of Liberty, Statue of Freedom on the East Coast, build a statue of duty, of responsibility on the West Coast. On the East Coast, east of New York, you have got a Statue of Liberty. Build a statue of responsibility on the West Coast, preferably west of San Francisco than west of Los Angeles. San Francisco has a better culture than Los Angeles, you see. So build a statue of responsibility on the west coast, west of San Francisco, you see. It's not the French people donated the Statue of Liberty to Americans, you see. Statue of Liberty was donated practically the whole thing. They had built the whole thing and given to Americans, you see. Now they should come forward and build a statue of responsibility and donate it to the Americans, you see, and insist that it be established on the west coast of America, you see. Then that, see, but here that freedom, it does not need this counterpoise, you see. Actually, in the Indian tradition, Indian culture, Indian sanskaras, the way in which things happen, you are not worried about freedom. You are concerned about your duty, about your responsibility. You are a household man, you have certain responsibilities. You are a student, you have certain responsibilities. You have to fulfill those responsibilities at every stage of life. So fulfillment of responsibility is itself a sort of built-in character in the society. And then it is in that responsibility you are free. In that responsibility you are free. You get sort of freedom, joy, happiness, progress, whatever you want. You don't want to say assert. You don't quarrel with your parents and run away out of the house. That is not responsibility at all, you see. You are respecting, the parents are respecting the son is respecting the parents, so that there is a kind of a responsibility of mutual responsibility, and then the society progresses. So the entire Indian society till recent years, recent centuries was based on duty, dharma, that is what they call dharma. Dharma means that, responsibility, duty, social duty, dharma. Dharma would mean basically that, you see. Dharma not performing religious rites in a prescribed manner, that is not dharma. Dharma is basically performing your social responsibility, your inner responsibility, your own personal responsibility. That is the dharma, you see. And it is that dharma which saves not only man, but also society. The foundation of society is then built upon dharma, you see. That is the sense of dharma, you see. There, freedom was sole rule and highest law. In a happy series, climbed or plunged these worlds. Happy series, climbed or plunged these worlds. Well, he has described the unevenness of life, upper and lower. So these happy worlds are climbing up or they are plunging deeper down also. Both these aspects are there. Climbed or plunged these worlds of glory of life, down, 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 they are also going up, up, up also going on. In a happy series, climbed or plunged this world, in realms of curious beauty and surprise, in fanes of grandeur and of Titan power, life played all at ease with her immense desire. Well, she is an ambitious lady. She is full of her own will force, and she would like to do what is it. And she plays. So whether it is going up or going down, she doesn't bother. Her joy is present everywhere. In a happy series climb. See, he has given now climbed or plunged. Beauty and surprise climbing up. Or grandeur of Titan power plunging down into the extreme assertion of life force. That is the Titan power, you see. Titan power, you see. So climbing and plunging, both of them are there, you see. So in the same sentence, he has described both what is meant by climbing and what is meant by plunging, you see. In a happy series climbed or plunged, these worlds of life, in realms of curious beauty and surprise, in fanes of grandeur and of Titan power, gigantic power. Life played at ease with her immense desire. 1,000 Edens she could build, nor pause. Well, paradises after paradises she will build everywhere, wherever she goes. And she is not going to stop anywhere at all, you see. She will not stop. Yes, 1,000 paradises, 1,000 Edens she has built. Eden, the purity of life which is there before mind entered into play. That is the Eden. The fall of man means the arrival of mind, the mental being. Before that it was only life, and therefore it is the Eden of that day, where Adam and live. So she could build such Edens everywhere like that, you see, where God's children live merrily, you see. 1,000 Edens she could build, nor pause. She would not stop at all. One after. Now, well, the only thing is, you have got 1 Eden, 2 Eden, 3 Eden, 4 Eden, 5 Eden, as many as you like, and it's endless thing. Now, is it only a copy-paste? You have built an Eden, another Eden, and another Eden, and another Eden. Is it just a copy-paste? It has no meaning then. You see, if it is only a copy-paste, same repetition, same Eden everywhere, has no meaning at all. Each Eden has its own character, its own feature, its own aspect of joy and of being, each aspect of joy. She could build, means there are endless possibilities of life worlds. Life worlds are endless there. And each one could have its own structure of joy, its own majesty of joy, its own purple grandeur, you see, every Eden. But they are all different. They are not only the same thing, you see. Now in modern cities, whether you visit one city or the second city, they are same. You see, you don't see any difference at all, you see, in modern cities, you see. Whether you are in Pune or in Bangalore or in Hyderabad, all cities are alike. In earlier days, these cities were distinct. Each city had its own character, you see. Each city had its own character. But modern world has spoiled that thing, you see. Same freeways, same traffic, same signals, you see. Everywhere the same, you see. Same road, you see. 1,000 Edens she could build nor pause. No bound was set to her greatness and to her grace. No bound, yes, no limit at all. Go on, go on. Life has that possibility. She will keep on endlessly creating these things. Now, the only question would arise, all right, you have built 1,000 Edens, maybe you will build tomorrow another 1,000 Edens and all that thing. What is that you are going to achieve with so many Edens? Ultimately, for what? Yes, each Eden has a joy of its own. I agree. You see, you live in one city, it has its own character and you enjoy it. You live in another city, it has its own character and you enjoy it. Yes, like that there can be thousands of other cities. So what? You see, so what? That joy, for what ultimately? that is not specified. Life cannot make an offer to what that joy, that existence is for, where it is going to head, that life cannot offer, you see. Aidance are there, but for what purpose so many aidance? That life will not be able to tell you, you see. Her concern is to build aidance. All right, I am going to do it. 1,000 aidance she could build nor pawn, no bound was set to her great aim, and to her grave, and to her heavenly variety. Heavenly variety, yes, each Eden is separate Eden, you see. Variety is there completely, you see. Now, he said, no bound was set to her greatness. Was set, it's a passive voice. In other words, somebody who has given freedom to life, and life is building the Edens, he has not set any limit on the possibilities of life. He has allowed life to go into full play and do whatever she wants to do in whatever manner she wants to do. The line here is, no bound was set by somebody. Well, it was not by herself. Somebody who has brought out life, so to say, into play. He has given full freedom to life. Yes, go ahead and do whatever you want to do, you see. No bound was set to her great age and to her grave, and to her heavenly variety. Heavenly variety. Each Eden, each Swarga. You have got Gandharvas, you have got Apsaras, each Swarga. You have got Indra Swarga, you have got Vaikuntha, you have got Kailash. These are all heavenly living. Each one has its own character. Awake with a cry and stir of numberless souls, arisen from the breast of some deep infinite, smiling like a newborn child at love and hope, in her nature housing the mortal's power, in her nature housing the mortal's power, in the bosom bearing the eternal will. No guide she needed but her luminous heart. No fault debased the Godhead of her stem. No alien night had come to blind her eyes. 1,000 Edens. That is the context in which this is. Awake with a cry and stir of numberless souls. Each soul has its own joy to be experienced, to be arisen from the breast of some deep sleep of infinite, from infinite prajna consciousness, deep sleep, some sleep, deep infinite, from his prajna consciousness, breast of some deep infinite, smiling like a newborn child at love and hope. Yeah, that is the character of a child. He is always smiling, always hopeful, always things will happen for his good, in his interest. He will always get joy. That is the character of a life. Smiling like a newborn child at love and hope, in her nature housing the immortal's power. In her nature housing the immortal's power. That is the central sentence here. Life is possible, is capable of doing all these things because she is able to have the immortal's power in her. The immortal's power is present in her. Therefore, all these things are possible, you see, all that description. 1,000 Edens she can build because she is housing in her nature, housing the immortal's power. Again, power of life, not knowledge but power. Nature, her nature is holding immortal's power in its breast, in her bosom, bearing the eternal will. Well, both the sentences, both the lines are the same thing. She is carrying in her soul, in her heart, the will of the eternal. So, no limit was set. That set is in that context again, you see. She has got that freedom because she is carrying in her breast the eternal will. Her nature is housing the immortal's power. Therefore, there is no question of somebody else coming and setting a limit for her, you see. That limit will be set by the immortal power. That limit will be set by the eternal will, you see. If it has to be set at all, you see. No guide she needed, but her luminous heart. Yes? Her heart is giving her light, and that luminous heart is showing the way, and no other guide is required at all. She can go by that thing, you see. No guide she needed, but her luminous heart. No fault debased the Godhead of her steps. No alien night had come to blind her eyes. Now these last three lines. No guide she needed, but her luminous heart. That's fine. But the other two lines are slightly different. No fall debased the Godhead of her steps. Well, she's carrying on then, because there is nobody to debase her, to spoil her walk, you see. No alien night, so outside night, foreign night, had come to blind her eyes. It is the night who blinds your eyes, and therefore there is no night, and therefore because there is no night, there is no question of her eyes getting blinded, and therefore she can move on, you see. Now, what this means is that the poet is a very clever person also, you see, very clever in a way, you see. No found debate the Godhead of her steps. No alien night had come to blind her eyes. Soon life will see night. Soon her steps will be debased. That is what it means, you see. No light, yes, until now. But wait a minute. The next section is going to tell you something different, you see. He is already preparing you for the next section, you see, by these two lines, you see. No fall debased the God. Means there is going to be fall now of life. The glory of life is there. There is going to be fall of life now, shortly. No alien night of the inconscience of the creation is going to blind her eyes. Life may not be able to see what for she is here, because that night will blind her eyes completely, you see, shortly. There was no use for grudging ring or pen. Grudging ring or pen. No use. See, normally you can find yourself and protect yourself in a ring or in a pen, you see. But there was no use at all, that thing, you see here. Each act was a perfection and a joy. When there is no confinement, when there is a perfection, then there is no question of a ring and a fence, that you are limited in the ring, you are bound in a fence. That question doesn't arise at all, you see. Each act was a perfection and a joy. So that is the beauty of it. When there is perfection then and joy, then each act becomes a successful act of adventure, you see. Abandoned to her rapid fancies moves, abandoned to her rapid fancies moves. Yes, she can play on her fancy. She wants to build up 1,000 Edens. Yes, go ahead, build up, you see. Abandoned to her rapid fancies mean, and the rich colored rat of her mind. Initiate of divine and mighty dream, initiate of dream of divine and mighty dream, magician builder of unnumbered forms, exploring the measures, the rhythms of God, exploring the measures of the rhythms of God. Yes, life has a certain degree of rhythm, has certain extensions of rhythm, but they are not necessarily all the types of rhythm possible from God. She can explore something beyond what she already has, you see. She can explore something beyond, exploring the measure of the rhythms of God. Beyond life as she is now here, there could be other rhythms also, other possibilities of the Spirit's expression also here, exploring the measures of the rhythms of God. At will, she wove her wizard wonder dance, a Dionysian goddess of delight, a beacon of creative ecstasy. She's at once a Dionysian, Dionysus and Bacchus. Bacchus, we already seen. Well, Dionysian is the god of wine. He is the god of wine, god of festivity of Bacchus is another name for Dionysius. It's one god only. They are not different. Bacchus and Dionysus, they are not two different persons. They are one, you see. Wine, the Bacchus is basically for wine and merrymaking and joy. Dionysian has a playful possibility, extensions of things, Dionysian, you see. He is the 12th Olympian. There are 12 Olympian gods. He is the 12th Olympian. Actually, it is a Titan who has become Dionysus. A 12th Olympian. It is a Titan who has become a 12th Olympian. Now, in order to make room for the 12th Olympian, Dionysian, Hesta, the goddess of hearth, of fire, of perfection, of household things, she vacated her seat and offered it to Dionysus. So Dionysus became the 12th Olympian when Hesta made room for him in the Olympian pantheon, you see. Hesta is the goddess of perfection. She attains to every detail, every minute. Here, Dionysian is mirth, joy, happiness. Olympus would not be a perfect Olympus without the joy and enjoyment, without the presence of Dionysus, and therefore Hesta made room for her. She was actually at one time courted by two gods, Hesta. But then she is a lady of perfection, and she did not want to bring turmoil and competition in the Olympus, in the Olympian world, in the Olympus, you see. Because if she chooses one of them, then they will start quarreling with each other, and there will be no more happiness and peace there. So therefore she thought that let me retire and go away. And Zeus, the Lord of Olympus, he granted her will and gave her full protection and every right. So she is the goddess of hearth. So when you make offerings to gods, when you make offering to God, the Greek, when they made offering to God, the first offering went to Hesta, and then the other offerings went to other gods, you see. So that is the privilege she got, you see. So she vacated the room for Dionysus. She made heaven joyous, beckoned, happy, full of wine, and things like that, you see. And we have got plenty of wine flowing there now. It is a festival of wine, you see. So she is at will, she wove, her wizard wandered on, a Dionysian goddess of delight, a beacon of creative ecstasy. You see, this is more important. Goddess of delight, Anandamayi. She is Anandamayi, goddess of delight. Creative ecstasy. She creates ecstasy out of that thing, you see. A beacon. So that is what life has done here, you see. Exploring the measures of the rhythm of God. See, that is possible. It is in that way, in order to explore the measures, the rhythms of God, she has become a Dionysian goddess. She has become a beacon of creative ecstasy. In that joy, she can multiply and create heaven after heaven, Eden after Eden. Now we have got beacons, we have got Dionysian parties, drink parties and all that, but then they are also vulgar, you see. Ultimately, we don't really enjoy the trueness of that thing, you see. The joy, the beauty, that is not there at all, you see. Don't you think so? Don't you think so? Yeah. And you take pride in such parties, you see.